Hi guys.
Hey, it's me.
Hi guys. Welcome back to another video. My name is Doreen. If you are new to this channel, I'll recommend that you subscribe because why not? It actually doesn't cost anything to subscribe. So I beg you. This one, okay, I'm begging you, please subscribe to my channel. I film about lifestyle, wellness, and some vlogs. And if you don't know, if you haven't seen my previous videos, I just migrated to Canada from Ghana. And yeah, so I've been getting a lot of comments, a lot of emails, a lot of messages about how I was able to successfully get here. And so it's a very long process. So I've decided to episodize. I don't know if it's a word, but all I'm trying to say is that I've decided to put it in episodes and then share my story. So I'm going to title the series Telling My Story. And this is going to be the first part where I'm going to try my best and break every single thing down, so much so that somebody can do this process too, basically. And I am not promising these videos to come ASAP because I have school. I'm sure most of you know that I'm in school, but I promise you I'm going to do my best and then bring them out as fast as I can. So yeah, if you see me looking down, I've tried to organize my thoughts in my notebook so that I don't, veer off and all of that. So like I said, my name is Doreen. I'm an international student. Yesterday was exactly 1 month since I came to Canada from Ghana. And yeah, like I said, I want to share my story. So I'm gonna start with a question. Why did I decide to travel to Canada? So if you know me personally, you know that I've always had close family members outside the country, right from my birth. My dad, my mom, my auntie. I have a couple of family members outside the country. If I had wanted to travel, I don't know, I feel like maybe I could have done it a long time ago. But let me just start off this whole story by saying that deep down within me, I just feel like this was just my time to travel. So it just had to happen because the way and manner that I was nonchalant about the process and everything just happened. I don't know, I feel like it was just my time to travel, right? So it happened for me, and then I want to share my story. The main reason why was when I finished uni, I went to tech, right? I read land economy in tech. When I finished uni, getting a job, I had a plan when I was younger. I had a plan, but as you know, we have it, plans don't always come like we want it. So I had a plan, but it was not going as I planned. Especially with job issues, finding myself career-wise, all those things. Everything was just not happening how I thought it was going to happen for me after school. And my plan B was literally this. So then I had to jump on to start doing this. And when I said earlier on that I've always had family members outside the country, my dad has been affiliated with the United Kingdom, my mom with the United States. So I have an idea of how things work in both countries. And someone will ask, why didn't I go to UK or US? So why Canada? So I considered a few things, and the most prominent one was the fees and then the opportunities after school. I settled on migrating from Ghana through the educational route. And so that's the reason why these 2 points are my most important points. The fees in Canada as compared to United Kingdom and United States were a bit low, and I could afford it. So we could afford it. So that was the big reason why I settled on Canada. And back to what I was saying earlier on, even though I've had all these important people to me outside the country, it was never part of my plans in the beginning to travel, because they were never telling me anything sweet about outside the country. It's always they are tired and they've been working 59 hours, 157 hours, blah 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 blah, and they've been standing on their feet and blah 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 blah. Like, it's always complaints. So I mean, and my dad also used to put in my mind that I can be successful in Ghana. So I was, when I was younger, I was just bent on staying in Ghana and making it in Ghana and not having to go through all that, the cold, standing on your feet. You get it? Like, if you have money in Ghana, it's very nice. It's very comfortable. But outside the country, you have to work for it. You have to sweat for it. You understand? So I've always been more of a Ghana-based mindset. I've always had a Ghana-based mindset than traveling. But then we both know the situation in Africa right now. The economic and everything else situation was just deteriorating, and then I had to work something out. Another question is, how long did it take for me to get to this process? So I'll say basically 1 year. I'm going to go through with you with the timelines and everything, and then like exactly how long it took for me to, like, 1 year, making a decision, planning, looking for schools, getting a visa. I'll say 1 year, like in a space of 1 year. Yeah. And traveling, in addition to traveling, leaving Ghana, like starting from the process of making a decision to leaving Ghana, it took me about a year. Where did I start from? So I'll say that it started with a prayer. I don't know the number of you who will remember, like the number of people who like pray with Upper Hour, but when 2022 was ending, one of the last episodes, I honestly cannot remember, but we were praying into 2023, and then Pastor Elvis said that we should write down things that we don't want to delay, things that must not delay in my life. I don't know if you remember. So I also went into my notes and then I wrote a couple of things down. And honestly, traveling was part of it. I don't even know why I wrote it. That's why I keep saying that this whole thing, I just feel like it was my time to go. Like, it was just really my time to go. So I wrote it down. I have a picture of it. It's just that the exact date that I wrote it down, I can't remember. But the last time I edited it was somewhere in March of 2023. Yeah. I updated it with a list of schools that I wanted to be in, but I had done that long ago. So yeah, that's just a part. I'm going to see if I can put it up here. And my dad mentioned it to me. Like, after that situation, my dad mentioned it to me. He's like, he called me one day and then he's like, why don't I explore the option of traveling? I didn't take it too serious. Not like I don't listen to my father, but Daddy, like the fees, like the stress, I don't know, like it just didn't make sense to me at that point. Till somewhere late January, a friend of mine, he's called Benjamin. Benjamin posted a picture of his friend, and then I responded under the picture, and one thing led to another, and me and the person who was posted became friends. And at that time, he had just migrated. It was January. He got to Canada in December, so he was like, in the early stages of his immigration or whatever. So we started talking and we became very good friends. And then he started asking me, like, if I have all these family members abroad, why don't I explore? I post these people I'm talking about, I post them a lot. So if you are in my personal space, you know the people that I'm talking about. I was a little bit reluctant, but then he kept saying it, and then I'm like, let me just try it. And in the beginning, I was thinking of going to the US. So I started looking for US schools. I went ahead to write IELTS, and I did very well. Yeah, I did very well. I didn't, in fact, when I started thinking of going to the US, I was thinking of doing an undergrad all over again, so that I can, get a different profession other than what I had started in Ghana. So I started going for SAT classes. Yeah, I went for SAT classes. I was far gone, and then this was around the early times where I met this friend I'm talking about, and then he kept saying, undergrad is long, blah 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 blah. So I should just do masters or some postgraduate diploma. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I stopped going for the SAT classes, and then the people who were doing the tuition, they said if I want to go into IELTS, I'll have to pay the tuition fee again. And me too, I had already paid in full for the SAT, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like, I cannot pay 2 times when I had barely finished the SAT program. So I stopped, and then I came home, and then with the help of YouTube, I studied for the IELTS and I went to write it, and I did pass. So you can use YouTube to write IELTS. You don't need to go for any classes. I mean, it depends on your smartness level. I'm not going to say I'm so smart, but I was able to pass with the IELTS, learning from YouTube. So I wrote the IELTS, the results came, I did well, and then I was still looking at US schools. But I noticed one thing, the fees were high. It's not like I wouldn't have been able to pay, but if I can get it for less, why not? And also with the whole US thing, I was also thinking about the opportunities after school. I don't know, I was just a little bit scared. I was just a little bit reluctant. And James was like my first contact in Canada, and he had been here, and then he kept telling me how the system was, and I'm like, you know what, I can try. Like, let me just give Canada a try. Let me just start it. I mean, Canada, you need US, yeah, walking distance. So let me just start. If I go to Canada and I don't succeed, I can easily move to the US, other than going to the US from Ghana. My old workplace was around the American embassy, so I was always seeing the people who come for interview, and I don't know, I just didn't want to go through that. I don't really know how to deal with rejection, so I didn't want to go through the US process and get rejected. I'm like, let me just try Canada, because it seemed a little easier, a little cheaper, a little flexible. It had a couple of opportunities, and so I'm like, let me just do it. So I'm talking a lot too. I wrote the IELTS, I changed my mind with the US schools, and James was in Concordia University in Montreal. So I applied to Concordia University, paid my application fee. I think it was $100 at that time. I applied to Concordia February 24th of 2023, and then I heard from them May 29th. From February 24th to May 29th. That was when I got the feedback from Concordia University. And guess what? They rejected me. Concordia University bounced me. They rejected me. I felt sick. Honestly. If my auntie will remember this, when I got a rejection, I called her, I was crying, I was sick. I felt sick. It was so funny. I felt sick. But after I had put in the application to Concordia, I wasn't so confident with the program that I selected. I don't fault Concordia for rejecting me. I saw it coming, but I just wanted to give it a try, because the program was not so much related to the program I had done in Ghana. So I'm not so surprised that Concordia refused me, but it was painful. It was a painful experience. So because I was not so confident, I decided to search for another school. I mean, it was just $100, so I mean, so I first of all went to the IRCC portal, and then there's a portion for study. I'll see if I can put a screenshot there. There's a portion where you can see all information when you want to study in Canada. So I saw, and then I saw that your institution has to be a designated learning institute. It has to have a DLI number. And then I went through, and then I don't even know why I settled on Ontario, but I was just going through, and then I saw Cambrian College, and then I clicked on Cambrian College. So Cambrian College was not like a school that, unlike Concordia, nobody referred me to Cambrian. No, I don't know anybody who had attended Cambrian. I barely have family members in Canada, so it's not like based on any referral. I saw it, and then I could meet the requirements. I think they require IELTS, and because I had already written, I think it's either IELTS or you have to come from a country where they're recognized for English, and Ghana is one of them. So even if you don't have IELTS, I think you can have your way around that. So me, I already had the IELTS, because I told you I had already written it when I was exploring the US schools. So yeah, I saw Cambrian, and they were offering project management, a program I wanted to do. So I went for Cambrian College, and Canada College. Those were my first two selections, and they were both in Ontario. And for schools in Ontario, there's a particular website that you need to use to apply for the schools. I'll talk about that in the next clip. I don't want this video to be so long since it's just an introduction. So I settled on Cambrian College, and then I put in an application together with Concordia. So like I said, Concordia's feedback came May 29th 2023, where I fell sick and all of that. So I kept my fingers crossed, because Concordia had refused me, and I had just one application in the system, which was for Cambrian. And remember I told you that I had, looked at Canada College too. So I put in an application for Canada College too after Concordia bounced me. So now I had two pending applications, which is Cambrian and Canada College. June 23rd, I got feedback from Cambrian College. Mind you, Concordia bounced me May. I heard from Cambrian College, and then they offered me admission. And then July 13th, I heard from Canada College. They also offered me admission. I heard from Concordia, like the span of time within which I heard from Concordia was quite long. Cambrian was better, but Canada was the best. I think for Canada, it took about 3 weeks for me to hear from them. Cambrian about a month, and then Concordia, I think 2 months. Yeah. So now I have two schools, and I needed to make a decision. I'm trying to understand the reasons why I settled on Cambrian College. I'm trying to remember why I decided to take Cambrian College. Oh, the admission for Cambrian came earlier. Yeah, it came earlier. So I had spoken to my sponsors, and they were ready to pay the initial deposits. The initial deposit from my school is quite high. I'll talk about that in the next video. It's quite high, but then I feel like then will be here. So here is see what you understand. So I went ahead and I paid for my initial deposits. They gave me my letter of acceptance, and yeah, so now that's how I got into Cambrian, and that is why I chose Cambrian over Canada College. And also I'd like to say that if you have any questions you would like me to answer during the episodes or whatever, in my subsequent videos, I will see if I can put a link in my description so that you can ask anonymous questions. If you don't mind, you can also put it in the comment section below, and then I'll take note of it, and then I'll answer them in my next video. I don't want the video to be so long. Myself, I don't like watching long YouTube videos, so pardon me. And also because of time and the editing and school and all of that, please pardon me. Let me do it this way, I beg you. So I hope that I made sense. In my next video, I'm going to talk about how I applied for the school, and also how I was able to get through with the IELTS. That's what I'll be tackling in my next videos, and then from there we can progress. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have watched this video to the end, I recommend that you subscribe so that you can follow with this, especially if you have plans on migrating to Canada. And also leave a comment, like I said, and like the video as well. And if you can, I'll be very happy if you can share this video for me. All right, so I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.